The recent widespread No Kings protests, which drew millions of people across the United States, have sent a clear message that Republicans should heed. The sheer scale and the diversity of participants underscore a deep and broad-based opposition to the direction of the Trump administration and what many see as an erosion of democratic norms. The immense scale and scope of the movement. The No Kings demonstrations, held in thousands of cities and towns from major hubs like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles to small, rural communities, were a massive, nationwide mobilization. Organizers estimate nearly 7 million people participated in the second round of these nonviolent protests, making it one of the largest protest days in U.S. history. This vast turnout is a significant indicator of widespread public concern that extends far beyond the typical progressive base. Who joined and why Republicans should be concerned? The political implication for Republicans is not just the number of protesters, but who they are, which speaks to a formidable and expanding coalition. Established civil rights and advocacy groups. The protests were spearheaded by a coalition of nearly 300 organizations, including major entities like the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, Indivisible, and Common Cause. This signifies institutional strength and sophisticated organizing capabilities, capable of sustaining a long-term movement. Major labor unions critical to the movement's ground-level power were some of the biggest U.S. labor unions, including the Service Employees International Union, SEIU, which represents hundreds of thousands of working people. The presence of union members and leaders, who often emphasize economic justice and worker rights, directly challenges the Republican Party's attempts to connect with the working class. Their participation highlights concerns over healthcare cuts, corporate greed, and the government shutdown's effect on federal workers. Civil rights veterans and diverse communities. The protests drew people who had previously been apolitical, as well as veterans of the civil rights movement, such as 75-year-old James Phipps, who saw parallels between the treatment of immigrants today and the discriminatory laws he fought in the 1960s. The crowd was a visible tapestry of American diversity, with strong representation from immigrant communities, protesting aggressive ICE raids, and advocates for healthcare, disability rights, and environmental action. A love of country patriotism. Significantly, the protesters framed their actions as deeply patriotic. They waved American flags, chanted "This is what democracy looks like," and held signs quoting the Constitution. This directly undercuts the Republican strategy led by figures like House Speaker Mike Johnson to brand the rallies as Hate America events. The message being sent is one of defending democratic institutions, not attacking the nation itself. Non-partisan opposition. While largely anti-Trump, the mobilization included Republicans and Democrats who oppose the administration's authoritarian style, such as those in the small town of Idaho Springs, Colorado. The focus on No Kings, No Crowns is a unifying, anti-authoritarian message that transcends typical left-right divisions. The core message: authoritarianism and erosion of democracy. The central theme uniting the diverse groups is a deep concern over what they perceive as the Trump administration's authoritarian excesses and the erosion of democratic norms. Key protest triggers included the president's defiance of constitutional limits and democratic institutions, the deployment of federal forces and the National Guard into U.S. cities, viewed as a dangerous overreach and militarization, sweeping and aggressive immigration enforcement raids, often sweeping up U.S. citizens alongside undocumented people, anger over the ongoing government shutdown and the use of government funding as a political hostage. In summary, the sheer size and unprecedented coalition involved, from powerful unions and civil liberties groups to veterans of the civil rights era and everyday Americans, indicates a significant political threat. Republicans' attempt to dismiss the demonstrators as a radical, unpatriotic fringe appears to have failed in the face of millions of citizens publicly affirming democratic ideals, demonstrating a vast, organized, and motivated opposition base that the GOP must confront in future elections.